it ain't dead. That can't be good on that costly camera there. Hello everybody, it's Robby Spencer and welcome to another Robby Spencer's Adventures. Hello everybody and welcome to another one of Robby Spencer's Adventures. I'm Robby Spencer and I'll be leading this adventure today. I wanted to do something today to kind of pay tribute to one of my heroes in the music business, and that was Grandpa Jones. So if you look right here, I've got an idea for today's show. This was his book called Everybody's Grandpa. It's his biography. And there's one part in the book where he talks about in 1937, I think he was playing in West Virginia on a radio station. And it says, just after I went out on my own, I had this picture made up as a postcard for fans in West Virginia. On the other side was the message, how many biscuits can you eat this morning? And it shows a picture of him baking biscuits there in the book. Now I'll show you something really fascinating. I have an actual one of those, he called it a postcard, but it's just a picture of him. He's got his guitar and he's got a mixing bowl and he's making biscuits there, and it says, greetings, Yodeling Biscuit Baker, Grandpa Jones. So we're going to bake biscuits on this show today and kind of in a tribute to Grandpa Jones. So let's get started right now. Let me show you something real neat what I've got. I've got my grandma's biscuit making tools right here. First off, I've got this board. Now it looks like an ordinary board, but she always called it her biscuit board. I don't know what differentiates it from a cutting board other than she baked biscuits on it and she didn't cut stuff on it. I don't know why you had a separate board for biscuits, but we do. And we also got her rolling pin. Now what's interesting about these two things is they were her wedding present. She got married in 1945, and her husband, which is my papaw, his daddy is the one that made these for her. And they're made out of poplar, and that's just one board right there. It has a, I don't know what you call it, a runner or something on the end to keep the board from warping. So that's real neat right there. We'll use them. And I also have her biscuit cutter, which I think is a baking powder can that somebody cut one of the ends off of years and years ago, and they punched holes in the end so when you cut the biscuits out they wouldn't stick in there because of the suction on it. So there's our tools we're going to use. Oh, I got a recipe book here, and it's got a recipe for buttermilk biscuits by none other than Grandpa Jones, and it's in a good recipe book, and some people call it a cookbook, but I call it a recipe book. That sounds about like the guy on Sling Blade, don't it? When he's talking about, he said some people call it a sling blade, but I call it a Kaiser blade. Well, anyway, we're gonna call it a recipe book. You don't reckon Billy Bob Thornton, if he sees that's gonna sue us, do you? I hope not. Maybe he'll get a kick out of this show. But first off, before we do anything in the kitchen, as far as cooking goes, we need to wash our hands. And that's just, one, you don't wanna get dirt in your food. Depends on what you've been touching with your hands. You don't want it to get in your food, and it's just a good idea to wash your hands. Hey, when I told my mom we was going to make a show on baking biscuits, she said, where are you going to do it at? And I said, in your kitchen. She said, oh no, you're not. And I said, why? She said, because my cabinets are filthy and I don't want anybody to see them. So I was up till about 1 o'clock in the morning scrubbing these cabinets here so we could do this show on biscuit baking. So if any of you know my mama and see her out anywhere, tell her how good her kitchen cabinets looked on the TV. Are we ready to start, or do we need to take a break for a commercial? Let's break for a commercial and be back ready to bake biscuits. Hello everybody, I'm Robby Spencer, and this is my take on a Beatles song. Well, me on the TV. They're gonna make a big star out of me. We'll make a show about a man that picks a banjo, and all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, they say I'm gonna be a big star, might win an Emmy, you can never tell. The TV's gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well. Well, I hope you'll sit and watch me on the TV, 'cause then I'm sure that you will plainly see the biggest fool that ever picked a banjo, and all I gotta do is act naturally. If you'd like to hear the rest of that song, be sure to get one of my Volume 3 specially priced $5 CDs. They are available at robbyspencer.com.
The Robby Spencer Show is also brought to you by LocalSwapShop.com. Over 14,000 classifieds, free to post, free to browse. Visit today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's time to start. The first thing we need to do on baking biscuits, if you're using a recipe, we're going to read the recipe just to make sure there ain't no surprises or any kind of surpriseful thing thrown in here. Ingredients, it says. And hey, I'll put this recipe on my website in case you want it. You can go on the website, robbyspencer.com, and it'll be there on my news bulletin board. Anyway, the ingredients, we start off 2 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, half teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons shortening, 1.5 cups buttermilk. That sounds straightforward enough. Now let's look in the directions. That's when it gets complicated. Mix all the dry ingredients in a bowl. Sounds reasonable. Mix the shortening and buttermilk together in a container. That doesn't sound like it's going to work. Pour them into the bowl of dry ingredients and mix until it becomes a dough. Pour dough out on a floured board. Roll out to about a 1/2 inch thick. Cut the biscuits 2.5 inches in diameter. Place them in a greased pan and bake for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees. See there, the first thing we need to know is right at the end of the recipe, 350 degrees. I don't work a stove that much, so let's figure out 350, 55, 350 degrees. We'll get it warming up, or what them fancy cooks call preheating the oven. I seen a episode on the Alton Brown has a show on the Food Network called Good Eats. He made biscuits with his grandma on there one day. We're not going to go into depth that much. We're just going to do it, and hopefully it'll turn out right. Here's that bowl that recipe was talking about. Now I'm going to make some changes on this. 2 cups all-purpose flour, that's fine. 2 teaspoons baking powder, baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. If you use self-rising flour, you don't have to put all that other junk in there. So that's what we're using, self-rising flour. It's right here in this bowl right here. So let's measure out 2 cups of that. There's a measuring cup. I'm going to use this sifter right here. I think I'm going to use it. It's not a very good job if somebody was allergic to flour. But then if you was allergic to flour, I doubt if you'd be eating very many biscuits anyway. Because we know for a fact that biscuits had 2 cups of flour in them. There's 1 cup. Now let's see if we can get this other cup in here without making a mess. About made a mess there. I think there's too much flour in that thing. I don't know how old this flour is. I don't know if it gets old if all that self-rising stuff in it quits working or not. You know, them fancy cooks on TV, they have somebody else do all this work for them. But we're not going to, because One, we don't have a budget on this program. Everything you see, we've had to pay for it out of our own pocket. But there we go. There's 2 cups of flour. Now the next thing we need to do, it says mix shortening and buttermilk together in a container. If anybody's ever tried to mix, you know shortening is basically grease. That's grease that comes from some kind of vegetables, I guess soybeans. And lard is grease that comes from animals like pigs. And shortening is grease. You know, buttermilk is a liquid. So if you tried to mix them together in a container, I don't think it'd mix very good. You'd have a mess on your hand. So let's just take, well, I've not got any shortening, so we're going to use bacon grease. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but you know, if nothing else, it'll make the biscuits taste like bacon. So I got my grease can right there. Let's find 2 tablespoons of shortening. I don't know if that's a tablespoon or not, and that's we get, there's about 1, there's about 2, and we kind of mix it together in the flour. And I got a fork here to mix it with. And we just kind of, I think they call this cutting it in. I don't know if it's going to work or not, bacon grease in biscuits. But we'll try it. Just kind of mix it in there till you get all the lumps out. Can you see that on TV? I don't know if the salt in the recipe had anything to do with making the dough rise or not. I think it does. We can put a little bit in there just in case. There we go. Hope it don't make them biscuits too salty. Hey, I was talking about Sling Blade a minute ago. He eats biscuits in that movie. Biscuits with mustard on them. There we go. If you ain't never seen Sling Blade, go out and rent it and watch it. It's a great movie. You know, Billy Bob Thornton's in it. And also, who is it? Dwight Yoakam. He's in it. He's a country music singer. I don't care much for his singing, but he's a good movie star. But then again, he probably, if he heard me sing, wouldn't think too much of my singing either, so we'll just call it even on that. Now we gotta measure out 1.5 cups of buttermilk. We got some buttermilk right here. Maybe we shake it up first. Buttermilk stinks. There's 1 cup. We pour it in our flour, excuse me. Wasn't supposed to have 1.5 cups. Yeah. There's our other 1/2 cup. We pour it in there. Now it says mix until it becomes a dough. I'm gonna get my spoon back out of the sink. Rinse it off because we don't know what's in the bottom of that sink. But we're just gonna stir it. I was about to say stir like you're stirring biscuit dough. But that's what we're doing.
This show is sponsored by Tri-State Signs in Bristol, Tennessee. Give them a call at 423-764-0607. Makers of quality signs.
I'm telling you what's the truth. Look at that. That don't look like biscuit dough, but I followed this. Recipe. I'm probably gonna have to put some more flour in it. That might make it. You know, cooking's not an exact science.
When you're mixing your biscuit dough, don't forget to visit localswapshop.com. With over 14,000 classified ads, free to post, free to browse, you'll find what you're looking for.
That helped a little bit. Not enough, I don't think. We're going to put some more flour in it. I tell you, I might just find another recipe to put on this website. There we go. It looks like it's coming along pretty good now. I don't know if this dough's supposed to be real stiff or if it's supposed to be loose. But if you went by the directions on the recipe, it looked like we was making pancakes. I think I'm still gonna put some more flour in it. There we go. You want it to look like dough. And there it's about, hey, that means our oven's ready. And it's just about ready to cut these biscuits. I'm gonna put a little bit more flour in it. Because if it's this sticky and I put it out on the board, it's just gonna make a mess. There, it looks like it's about ready to roll out. Get in there with our hands a little bit and punch it around. What did it say in the recipe? Pour dough on a floured board. Hey, we've got a board here and we got some flour right here, so let's put some flour on it. I don't know how much you need, but that looks like that might work. Now let's dump our dough out on there. We'll throw the bowl in the sink. Let's put some flour on a rolling pin. Put some flour on our hands. We'll just get flour all over the place. Now it says roll out to about a ½ inch thick. So we'll roll that dough with the rolling pin. I've got pieces of dough on my hand. I'm gonna wash them again real quick. How thick was this dough supposed to be? About a ½ inch. We get a tape measure out and make sure. It looks like about a ½ inch. Things are going pretty good now. Cut biscuits about 2.5 inches in diameter. Let's see how big our biscuit cutter is. It's 2.5 inches. We couldn't have thought of any better thing than that. Place them in a greased pan. So there's our pan. Let's get some grease on it. Some more bacon grease. And we're going to grease it up real good. Grease that pan. There, that looks like it's greased good now. Let's start cutting these biscuits out. Watch this, we'll take our biscuit cutter, we'll dip it in the flour so it don't stick to that. We'll start over here at one end. We'll cut one biscuit out, lay it in the pan. Cut two biscuits out, lay it in the pan. There's biscuit number 3. It goes in the pan as well. Well, you get the idea of what's going on here. Now look at that. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 15 biscuits in a pan. We got this leftover dough. We'll throw it in the sink. Now we'll put them in the oven and bake them, because that's all a part of baking biscuits is. We'll set our timer for about 25 minutes. Gotta turn it on first. "25 minutes on the dot." Now I'm gonna clean up here, and the only thing I know we can do while we're waiting on these to bake is I'll clean up, and then we'll come back and I'll play the banjo for you a little bit. So stay tuned, and we'll be back right here in just a minute. Well, see Deacon Jones when he rattles them bones. Old Parson Brown hopping around like a clown. Old Aunt Jemima, and she's past 93, and she's shouting with full of pep. Watch your step, watch your step. One-legged Joe hopping round on his toe. He throwed away his crutches, hollers, "Boys, let her go." "Oh, honey, hail, hail, the gang's all here for the Alabama Jubilee." That's a little tune called Alabama Jubilee, and it is on my Volume 4 $5 CD. If you'd like to learn more about those, or possibly even buy one, go right here to robbyspencer.com. Alright, I've about worked up a sweat. Now it's time to play up a sweat. I've been talking about biscuits on the whole show, and Grandpa Jones singing a song called "How Many Biscuits Can You Eat?" I'm going to play it for you right now, at least a little bit of it. And this banjo here is one I bought from Raymond Fairchild down there in Maggie Valley. So if he's watching this on TV, I hope you enjoy it. This is the way it goes. Well, how many biscuits can you eat this morning? How many biscuits can you eat this evening? How many biscuits can you eat? 49 and a ham of meat this morning, this evening, right now. Well, wake up, Sal, you slept too late this morning. Wake up, Sal, you slept too late this evening. Wake up, Sal, you slept too late, and somebody stole the biscuit plate this morning, this evening, right now. Well, make my coffee good and strong this morning. Make my coffee good and strong this evening. Make my coffee good and strong. Keep on singing that biscuit song this morning, this evening, right now. How many biscuits can you eat this morning? How many biscuits can you eat this evening? How many biscuits can you eat? 49 and a ham of meat this morning, this evening, right now. There you go. How many biscuits can you eat? We got a few more minutes left, so we'll wait just a few more minutes and take these biscuits out of the oven and see how good they are. There it goes. The alarm's going off. It means it's biscuit time. Let's see how they turned out. Oh, they look pretty good. Well, at least about half of them do anyway. They're nice and brown on the top. Nice and brown on the bottom. And they're hot. Well, anyway, let's get us a paper plate, because I've already washed the other dishes and I'm too lazy to wash anymore. And let's just turn them out on this. They don't exactly look like Hardee's biscuits, but I believe they'll do. Now, the best time to eat biscuits is that in everybody's way, that pan. Better turn the oven off. That'd be a good idea. But let's crack into one of these fresh biscuits and see what they taste like. That one there. They're still hot. Let's see here. Let's get us a napkin to put, or a paper towel instead of a plate. We got some of this. I can't believe that it tastes like butter, and we're going to put on this one. Close it up. We get us another one here. We'll put some jelly on it. And hey, you know, since I talked so much about Sling Blade during this show, we'll get one and we'll put some mustard on it. There we go. There's the three best things. What would be good is some sorghum on one of these, but I don't have any that's fit to eat. So if anybody out there has any that's fit to eat and can get me some, I'd really appreciate it. And that reminds me, if there's anything you'd like to see on the Robby Spencer Adventure Show, just email me. My address is robby@robbyspencer.com. And if you have an idea or something you'd like to see on the show, just drop me a line. And then if you'd like to advertise on the show, remember we're all the time looking for good advertisers. And if you got something good you want to advertise, email me and I'll forward it to the proper channels. Watch this, I'm going to try one of these good butter biscuits. Real good, it's a little bit crunchy. It's good. So there it is, the biscuit baking episode. Tastes good with that bacon grease in there. And no tribute to Grandpa Jones and everybody else. I hope you enjoyed this program, and thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with another show.